little gay people in my phone, and welcome back once again to the Glass Closet. This is a gay podcast where we talk about gay stuff, gay people who are online also. And today, I'm so excited. We are here with the lovely and beautiful and talented and educated Miss Essence.
Okay, tell him.
Welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
I'm so happy to be here.
You're also like the first guest that I've had on this podcast who I've never met.
And that's protecting the dolls. Am I looking at camera? I'm sorry.
Oh, this is your camera.
This is my
This is the two.
Which one's two?
This is like both of us. This is you.
I'm just talking shit.
No, it's fine. But if you do want to address the audience and you want to,
oh,
that's
this
them
one
right there. Let them know. That one with the big square.
Oh, yeah. I see you. Yes.
She's seeing you. So, I typically try and start and be like, this is how I know you, this is what you do.
Okay.
I know you from like dominating the For You page, being beautiful, being lifestyle, being advocacy.
When they say women really bring men like a higher status, it's actually fucking true. And I'm exhausted of giving men access to rooms that they do not deserve to be in. I'm absolutely tired. Actually, you know what? How about you go make a fucking friend in the crowd?
But you also, I know, do so many things. Also, obviously, being a Columbia University graduate.
Crazy.
Yes. So what would you tell the audience, your spiel? Who are you?
Who am I? I am a recent graduate from Columbia University. I have just learned that I am a bridge, a vessel for communities connecting, you know, gay men with dolls, trans women with trans people? I don't know. Cut that part. Redacted. A vessel. I'm a nightlife character, producer in Chicago and New York City. I'm a brother. I know that sounds so crazy to tell people that, but I have two little sisters. I don't expect them. They're just starting to call me sister. One's 7. And, you know, I'm a grandchild to my great-grandmother who I've been able to, like, not promote, oh my God, sounds like I'm, like, soliciting my grandma on the internet, to highlight, you know, our relationship. I'm a lot of things, and, you know, I'm just a lover. I'm a pacifist, if I can say that.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And you're a creative. Like,
I'm a creative, yeah. I'm a former child actor. It was kind of insane.
You're a former child actor?
I have a lot of lore.
Oh my
We're
God.
gonna.
Well, let's jump in. Okay. Because I feel like you resonated with me, and I was so excited.
Oh my God, I love when you DM'd me. I was like, yes,
Oh my
finally,
God.
finally, my time has come.
Just because I feel like in the lifestyle space, which like in the hair care, especially for dark skinned girlies, like hair care, makeup routine, like New York City nightlife, like there's not, you know, that creator that I felt the most seen by or felt like, okay, we're aligned in like certain ways or we look the same.
Yeah.
And so when I see your videos, it's always just such a breath of fresh air, and I feel so like, and it's hard because, I want to bring this up, like when people tell you you're inspiring, and which boots, like you are, like you've done, the resume's long, the hair's long, like the beauty's face.
It's all
like,
human too.
But like you really like embody so much like that people can do what they want to do. Like people can, if you put the effort in, like you can do it, you know, like truly. But I also feel like that can be, even you were talking about it, like taxing to feel like that pressure, feel like, damn, I also am just a girl, like, you know what I'm saying?
Because I'm gonna mess up 1,000 times. I feel like that's what people forget often is like, I'm not a perfect person. My shit stinks. It stinks bad. You know what I mean? It's like after I ate Chipotle. But it is really taxing because I get a lot of DMs and messages, and you know, now that I've been growing in the spotlight, it's really hard for me to go through those messages and read those things because there's also like fueled with hates too. But the people say, you know, you've inspired me to go back to college. You've inspired me to like take care of my hair, from all kinds of people. I've even got comments from like DMs from straight men, like saying, you know, you really inspired me to, like, you know, like connect with like my girlfriend better and these different things.
Wow.
And it's really beautiful, and I think people see that, and I wish I could highlight it more. But it's also so taxing too, because as a Black trans woman who has who's in the spotlight, has a platform, you know, people want me to either be Beyonce, be like, you know, fearless, or they want me to be like Marsha P. Johnson, and I'm no one's martyr. I'm truly no one's martyr, but I just try to really just like bridge people together. I try to end the hate, honestly. That's just what I've been trying to do, but it's so hard because I know I'm gonna fuck up real soon. You know what I mean? That's like the part that fears me, is I'm going to fuck up. And I mean, people tell me I fucked up going to Columbia University, and I was like, well, I went to Columbia before I even had social media, so I don't know what y'all want me to do.
Yeah, there's no one way to, you can't please everybody is something, because I also feel that way as I'm building my platform and trying to figure out what it is I'm trying to say, and I felt really seen by you saying you feel like you're a bridge, because that's what this is about, right? Like Glass Closet is really about conversations, unity, and grace, and I think that what you're kind of tapping into is like, because you must to certain people represent either a martyr, someone to look up to, or like fierce, like give me confidence, like it's dehumanizing in a lot of ways. Like you don't get to be seen as a three-dimensional person all the time. And so where's the grace? And it's this thing I say on every episode, everyone's gonna get sick of me, but like the most marginalized amongst us have the highest expectations put on them.
Can we talk about that? I made a video a couple weeks ago saying that we need to give Black and brown, especially female creators, grace when it comes to politics right now. We should not be looking at those creators to talk about anything right now, because what it does is visibility without protection is a trap. Is a trap. I know, and I've talked about it, I don't blame my followers, and I'm so happy they follow me, they promote me, they share my content, but the more and more they push for me to be on the page and stuff, it has gotten me, almost got expelled from Columbia.
Wow.
People contacted my school sharing content of mine they didn't agree with, the expectations that we just talked about, and it was dangerous. I was like, no one's protecting me. I don't make money from TikTok. I don't make money from social media. I've probably made a couple thousand, but I've never even crossed 10,000 yet. And I've been making content for 2 years. You know, I don't, and when you say influence too, it's like, I don't know how to monetize everything. I'm not doing TikTok shop. I'm not.
For the culture.
Yeah, I'm not making videos longer than a minute. Like I do, but they're not like monetized at all. I don't know how to do like you click on the link in my bio to get to my Amazon storefront. I don't do all that. But there's people who do that. You know what I mean? They're making money. Even if they have less followers. I mean, they're like, but that's not how it influences. But like, give grace, you know what I mean, to the people who are really trying to, you know, bridge communities right now. But so many creators are being seen to like have expectations. Like, girl, I don't know that fucking Anthropology had like a statement out 20 years ago about something. I don't know if that's even true. And it's just like, what the? I'm just talking my shit on the internet.
Absolutely.
It's insane. Sorry for the rant.
No, I think you're completely correct, and I'm feeling it in many ways too. Like and I don't even think it's not about like expecting people with certain identities to speak, but not being so quick to condemn, especially because I feel like it typically comes from people within the community. And I'm like, y'all, you know what? You know who's gonna really love to see us infight? Not us. Like, you know who's really gonna benefit from that? Not us. Like,
not us.
But
no.
Sorry.
The craziest comment I remember getting, and I love my action figures, but some of y'all are insane. I'm looking at the camera. Some of you action figures are insane. Was a Brooklyn TikToker, a white trans mask man. So people think, so there's filtered comments. I don't know if people don't know that. I don't delete comments. You're just filtered. TikTok filtered you because you're saying some crazy shit. Now, when I go to my filtered comments, I can be imploded. People will like repeat comments trying to get it through.
Wow.
Sometimes I'll accept them just to really like show ass. And there was this white action figure who commented saying something about like, well, read her bio. Like she supports Alex Earl and like she goes to Columbia University. I was like, well. I was just saying I was like a little messy, like white girl, you know what I mean? I go to an Ivy League, like what's wrong with that? Can I not live my truth? Like what is your expectation of me? And it's just like, I'm not Marsha P. Johnson. And look what happened. That's just terrible to say, but just like, where were the gays protecting her, you know?
And yet, it's all of this like, get on the stage, and it's like, okay, and then what? Like,
speak Valentina. Speak Valentina.
Yes, I like.
Me, take your mask. No, I'm okay.
But in that vein, like, obviously protect the dolls, the shirts, but...
Are you selling the shirts?
Am I selling the shirts?
Click the link below. Yeah, it's an interesting shirt, to say the least. I think I love what Star Amarusu said. There's a lot of dolls who are changing the description of it. You know, I think protect the dolls is quite literally bullshit, you know? I think... as we're taking, you know, they're expecting me to like, you know, speak about all these issues, you know, the GOP, like dolls. Where's these artists who can just speak up? You know, I think people really scorn Chapel Roan. But Chapel Roan, if you go through who she follows a Black trans fund, like she donates money. You know what I mean? And, you know, there's the thing about being silent because you have a platform, but being vocal is so important. I think wearing a shirt is amazing, and I can't tell them what they're doing. They might be donating thousands, millions of dollars to these trans lifelines, but like, speak up. You know what I mean? Well, they need, politicians need to see you speaking. They don't want to see this Black trans girl from an Ivy League speaking on this issue. It's just like, oh, well, of course she is, because like it's directly affecting her, you know? But it's, sorry, protect the dolls, yeah. I think we need to connect the dolls to the dreams. Help the dolls get employment, help the dolls get housing, you know what I mean? You like seeing her in the club, shake her ass, show her tits, be crazy doing lines with her in the bathroom, be like, oh my God, like your style is so amazing. Let me connect you with like, you know, a fashion designer. Let me connect you with this company that I work for. Let's get you in, like, let's work on your resume. You know what I mean? We shouldn't have to cry. I think with me crying on the internet about like going to an Ivy League, it showed another side that people didn't see. It's just like, oh wow, you know, she set up for success. I'm like, I have no job. I've applied for 1,000+ jobs, and I only had 2 interviews. You know, it's just, sorry, I'm just on a rant right now when it comes to that. Connect the dolls to their dreams. The dolls need support. And I think, like we said, visibility without protection is a trap. Don't set these dolls up to like be on the internet and like, you know, be these out loud, fierce people and not protect them. Yeah. It comes at no cost when you're ordering, you know, your DL trade from Grindr over and getting him, you know, a pizza after and wanting to fall in love with him, but you won't even like give the girls $10 for their GoFundMe to get a boob job.
It's very static. It's like I weigh the idea of like, what does it mean for the celebrities who are wearing the shirt, and then what does it mean for the people buying the shirt, and then what are you tangibly doing? Like, I think, especially post 2020 when things were so like, let's go, let's fucking work, like let's woke, like,
you know,
that like now when like these micro trends emerge that are like protect the doll shirt, Troye Sivan, but it's like, what are we doing? But you never know.
You never know, and that's kind of the big thing. I do, which I feel like it's so weird to like admire, like fantasize about, but like 2008, I feel like, do you remember Gigi Gorgeous?
I was there.
Like, right, I was there. Like, it wasn't really a big problem to be trans. It was like, okay, they exist. Yeah. And I've made a video about this. I know this is about the Middle East, but transmedicalism was widely accepted in the Middle East before like the radical governments and, you know, obviously like people investing into politicians to be very right wing and like change skew, you know, make religion like make you seem like you're a good person or whatever. And I think the same thing was in America too. Like they had these conversations about transmedicalism. A lot of people are blessed that they burned those medical books in Germany in the 1930s when they did about transgender studies. And it's interesting that there was more, I wouldn't say accepted, but it was just seen like, okay, this is a mental illness, and now it's just like, I mean, it's still seen that way. I don't know where I'm going with this, but where am I going with this, girl? I'm lost.
I feel like I get what you're saying, like that.
It's like, weird. The attention is weird. The cameras right now being in the mainstream public. Like this man invested, was it $20 million on like anti-trans propaganda, like rhetoric? It's just like, it's 2008. We were just really just being in the room.
Right, and I saw a tweet about this too. But like the transphobic rhetoric it's literally the plot of Wicked. Dare I say it's the plot of Wicked? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, where the politicians are trying to make us not look at like they're whatever, and we need a scapegoat. Like, it's a scapegoating.
Because eggs are going up.
And it's groceries, and it's you know, and it's like it confuses me so much, or I guess it's so exactly what it is. But it's like we were all there, like pre-2015. Like we all were there.
The girls were just keen.
Right. It was like not obviously what you're saying is like there was bigotry and bias, but it's not the way it's being forced now. And like even when Trump was signing that fucking not having trans women in sports bill and had all those young girls around him,
and like a decade before, he was just saying he can see trans women competing in pageants. 100%. And so was Nancy Mace, the politician right now?
He awarded $2 million to strengthen trans-led organizations to deliver gender-affirming health care in Guatemala. So to each of you this morning, does this advance the interests of American citizens paying for in Guatemala to the tune of $2 million?
Mr. Chairman, parliamentary inquiry.
Yes, sir.
The gentlelady has used a phrase that is considered a slur in the LGBTQ community and the transgender community. And let me please finish without interruption. And
I don't really care. You want penises in women's bathrooms, and I'm not going to have it.
She's been calling people trannies on Capitol Hill.
Oh.
I don't know if it's Nancy Mace. Nancy Mace might be the trans politician, but there's a white woman. She was in like, she served in the army or like whatever. And she was also, I support like, you know, trans women. It's just crazy because like I said before, like they saw that as like a medical thing, like, okay, these people are actually like born like this. You know what I mean? And it was widely accepted opposed to like gay marriage, which is, both should be accepted. But I think in the fight for gay marriage and gay equality with white gay men having access to money and being able to like, you know, be closeted and not be front facing, not have their sexuality defy them opposed to a trans person or an outwardly loud queer person, they were able to get through, you know, to these Capitol Hills and, you know, get lobbying and stuff and then use their money to like help their communities. But everyone else got the tail on the back of the bus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Girl, let's let the girls have fun.
And I want to talk about the girls having fun, like, because actually there's this book that I keep forgetting that my friend keeps telling me to read about revolution, what happens after all this shit falls, because obviously this
needs
is
to
a setup.
happen, yeah.
Like, little fascism time never works. I don't know what the plan is, but when a new world emerges, when it's time to rebuild, there's this book that kind of documents what that would look like, and a huge part of that is nightlife and like clubbing as a space for reprieve and community. And I think that's really what we're seeing in New York, and I think something you're really spearheading is like culture, nightlife, music, dancing, community as resistance. And I would love to hear you talk more about it.
Nightlife has been so important to me. I found myself into the nightlife scene about 4 years ago. I started off with drag, and then I got into the house and techno scene. That's where I kind of met a lot of my chosen family who are pioneers behind the sound. Can't name names because, whoo, child. but they have been spearheading what has been happening for decades. And it's so important to have these spaces, and right now we're seeing the death of gay spaces because of us being accepted into these, straight spaces. But something about house and techno being black and queer roots, and why are we always the people to accept everyone? You know what the ginger trend right now?
Everyone who is ginger, who has red hair, those are black people. All gingers are black people. If they have red hair, they are black.
They think about houses like, everyone's welcome in our house. Just for them to come in and steal our culture. And now we're talking about like the revolutionary like side of like the underground scene and then the club life. But we have to talk about also people coming in and being parasites. That movie was so real. And stealing our sound and making these spaces, just like you hear like frat house and like white DJs now playing like Afro funk. And it's like cool and it's happening. And it's just like, you go to those spaces, the dolls were in the DJ booth with these people back in the day, and now you don't see no dolls in the space. It's just white people like having, coffee shops. Now they're trying to end it like, we should have like coffee house music. I'm like, girl,
what's going on?
What's going on? But right now in New York City, like I can't name the names because they already DM'd me and told me to stop talking about them.
The names of the bars?
The clubs, the parties, I can't name them. But they're so important because you really find your chosen family. You find these groups of people, you find these DJs who are revolutionary, who are creating sounds that inspire millions, thousands of people. And I mean, right now it may sound niche, but like these sounds we're gonna hear like maybe like 10 years, someone's gonna coincide these scenes and make it their own sound. But all we know is that we started it. And that's like the beautiful thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And in American history that typically, we know how that goes. But it's true for many things, like so much of culture even is rooted in exactly where you're at.
Yeah.
But I'm also curious because I feel like I am a dyke and I be at the dyke bars and I be in.
How are the dyke bars? I've heard some crazy things.
Yeah. The dyke bars vary. The dyke parties also vary. It really.
Wait, so are dyke bars different than lesbian bars?
I just say dyke, but I would say there's only 4 in New York right now.
It's not the Bush, is it?
It's the Bush, Cubbyhole, Gingers, and Henrietta Hudson's. Those are the
Henrietta Hudson is coming back, right? Were they closed? They closed?
No, Cubby was doing renos for a little bit, but they're back.
Okay.
So everyone's open, and then there's like the staple parties, the Woods Wednesday, like a Gush, like a GGG, like their Raw Honey, like functions that pop up.
Love Raw Honey.
Dare I say Fudge? I'm gonna cut that, but there's Fudge Discourse. And it's interesting because I went to Industry for the first time. I was in Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, gay bar. They had a lesbian party there?
No, but
You just went.
I like to go. I like to talk to the boys. I'm like, hey. And they had a lesbian flag. They had all the flags, actually.
I've never seen a lesbian flag.
Later. Real. There's no lesbian flags in like any lesbian bars in New York, but it was at Industry, and it like struck me that like, obviously like, I was one of the only people who looked like me at Industry that night. But like, it's interesting because I feel like the lesbian bars don't want to purport to be too dykey. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like because the Hell's Kitchen culture is so
white muscle gay?
White muscle gay.
Okay.
White muscle gay. That it's like the lesbian bars are just queer. They're for like everybody who's not that.
Yeah.
Because those spaces are so non-inclusive. But I feel like you exist in a different, like even a different queer space, because that's why I'm like, tell me the parties, because I'm like, where
are the parties?
Where are the parties that are like intersectional but in that culture? Because the lesbian bars are not like, it's a very cruising culture, and it's not a lot of like actual community and like real like dancing and like let's like reprieve. It's a lot
Let's
of
make
like,
connections.
Yeah.
I can say basement. Basement's a really beautiful space. I love that their hosts are dolls who, you know, and they're so, what is it? There's basement, what's one, not now, is it nowadays?
Yeah.
I went to nowadays after like a year, but these queer spaces, it's different than Chicago nightlife. Chicago nightlife, you can go to, you know, these venues and, you know, it's always gonna be like the same kind of group of people. In New York City, it seems like more gay bars and gay venues are just event spaces. They're always having parties to go through. You know what I mean? You can go on a random night. It might be 8 o'clock, 8 to 10 might be like Latin leche, and then like 10 to 12 might be like fisting bottom party. And you're just like, well, this isn't a place. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's quite crazy. But you go to places like nowadays in basement, they have these important conversations before you walk in. Like, have you been?
That's true. Yeah.
I love the question is like when they do door people to say like, do you like, you know, would you let yourself in? Because these spaces are private. These spaces are so holy ground, and we don't need transphobia, we don't need homophobia, we don't need xenophobia, we don't need all these things in there. But like even those spaces, they have different, you know, show promoters bring different like groups of people, but it's important to like keep these private, and I love like the no camera. So those are the places I'd recommend, like basement and like nowadays, but like ask yourself like, would you let yourself in? Do you know what I mean? Or are you just trying to be a voyeur?
Yeah,
and you know what I mean? Because like this is not a place where you walk up to like someone's like, I don't like what this person's doing over there. Because they're doing a line of their fucking in the back corner. Like, you just see, that's none of your fucking business. Like, love it for what it is, not what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Love that people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
They even have sex over there in that dark, nasty corner. You know what I mean? Or they get to wear whatever they want to wear and express themselves.
Yeah.
And listen to the DJ. You know what I mean? Just let people do what they want to do and accept that for what it is. Don't make it about yourself.
Yeah.
Because we can all be a little Karen sometimes. But I think that's what we learn in these underground parties, Harris Swan, is all these things, just like, just love it for what it is, not what you want it to be. So when you ask the question of parties, it's so hard to answer because there's so fucking many.
No, but I just want to hear about like, because I guess I'm talking about it as if it's a spectrum, but like, you know, staple bars or like brick and mortars, culturally, and then like the 4 little dyke bars as brick and mortars in parallel to each other, and then like the actual real community that's happening in the center between these two like things that can seem so like, this is for them, everybody else figure it out, you know? And that's where this culture of like promoter parties, underground parties is like coming from. Like, how do you feel? Do you have reflections? What's your experience been like at like fucking Hush or like at anywhere else, and how does it compare culturally?
I just got assaulted at Hush the other day.
Oh my goodness.
I haven't been to gay bars in a long time. I think the death of the gay bar, as I said earlier, is like really important, so I hate to even like call that out. But I think you walk into the space, you might see people who look like you, but they don't accept you. It's kind of like a Hollywood like smile, because like someone looking at you, but like don't do too much. Opposed to like being able to fully express yourself and take up room. I think everyone's scared to take up room in gay bars. Except the demonic little twink in the corner who's just like, you know what I mean? Like from the suburbs wearing their gay flag. Like, I'm in New York City and I'm fierce. And it's like, they're unapologetic and I love that. But when you're like seized in New York City, like, well, I can't act this way. I can't act that way.
Yeah, performance.
In those brick and mortar spaces, but in these underground spaces that we've built for people to just go fucking batshit crazy, they're so important. But yeah, I have not been to too many gay bars. I think, as I said earlier too, like, you know, the dolls and gay men and just all of us being accepted into straight spaces. New York City is is like that hub of like, you can go to the Box, you can go to Outer Heaven, go to all these places to be accepted. You know, since the debut like Amanda Lepore and the Club Kids, like even door personalities, like you can't be shocked when you see a doll. Like some of the times the dolls are running these straight fucking nightclubs.
Oh yeah.
Dykes are, you know, gay men are, and it's just like, wow, it's not happening in other cities, but it's happening in New York City. And the more and more that happens, it's just like, you talk about a gay club to me, I'm like, girl, fuck that, girl, I can go over here. Yeah, I won't be there, but yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel like, because this is bringing up 2 notions I've seen recently, where there was a twink in some shiny booty shorts who went to, I've never been to Joy Face, but to Joy Face.
What the hell is Joy Face?
I think it's an Alphabet. I haven't been, but it's supposed to be
Alphabet?
queer.
Is that Jersey?
Alphabet City, like East Village.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't.
God, I guess I'm a gentrifier. I don't know these places.
But essentially, he goes and they won't let him in, because he's in like his little shorts. And he's like, well, I thought this was a gay bar. God forbid I'm a little femme.
God
like,
forbid.
No, actually. And so then I'm also noticing, like, I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like, actually, let me bleep it. Let me gatekeep. But it's like a specifically black, femme forward, like, gay party, queer party. And I went, and it was white.
This is a black-led party, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And it wasn't like, because there's a huge conversation in the lesbian community right now about race, honestly, about race.
I've been seeing it.
Like what spaces belong to who can go, da-da-da. And I've noticed, like, at least my white friends, because they're real, right, are like, I'm not gonna go to so-and-so. Like, I'm writing off this party because, like, solidarity, right? And I could tell, like, all these white people who were at this black party are those types of white people who are like, well, I'm not going to the other thing. Because it was actually the same night. Like, one of these white parties was the same night as this black party. And I didn't go, but the white party was like, the white party, this is kind of like segregation now. But like, but I heard it was like whack, like nobody went. And then I'm at this black party that's like bumping, but 50% white, which is crazy. I've been going to this party for like 3 years. And like, I was just like, what's going on? But I could tell it's full of allies, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all people full of like, well, I'm safe, so I'm gonna go. Which is real, but like, I guess my question leads to like, what does it mean to protect these spaces where everyone can be free, but like, really we are here to prioritize and uplift the dolls or like the black femmes or like, but like everyone can come, but what does it mean? And how have you felt centered in that? Like,
I think I learned a lot from nowadays. It was the first time someone ever stopped me and like, let's have a conversation about what we're about to go into this room. It was like, we don't give a fuck what you know, I mean, drugs, like, you know, if we don't see it, we don't care. But let's talk about what you're going in this room. There's going to be sex, there's going to be people falling apart, there's going to be this happening, you know, there's going to be black people moving around, there's going to be this happening. Like, stopping someone and checking someone is really important. I think you just, when you write, it's like, you know, no homophobia, no transphobia, none of that thing, you have to sit in the expectation of that.
yeah,
When you see it, call it out, kick him out.
real.
Let that bitch go on a rant on TikTok. It's like, they kicked me out of the club because so-and-so. Let that bitch have it. Like, yeah, we hold you to an expectation. So we talk about these things, you know, like, what's it called?
Yeah.
Okay, redacted. Redacted. I think they need to have a conversation with their, you know, oh, we've been having a lot of like white, you know, people come to our party. We're loving, you know, that you guys are really, you know, supporting this black party. Just remember that this is not your space.
Yeah.
Say the quiet thing out loud. You know what I mean? Stop them at the door and say like, hey guys, like, you know,
Yeah.
coming in, like, tonight's not your night. We're gonna make this more space for black and queer people tonight.
And did
White straight parties do it all the damn time.
help?
You're not getting in tonight. You know, it'd be a man in a fur coat, tarantula.
Tarantula.
Not tarantula. What is that called? Chewbacca. Something. Whatever. They look at all the guys like, you're not getting in tonight. Because maybe the space isn't for you. You know what I mean? Maybe you might, not like something bad's gonna happen to you, but maybe it's just like, they can tell already that you're gonna bitch when you walk up in there. So why set you up to fail?
It's also interesting because it feels like a double-sided conversation that's like talking about what comes of that in a harmful way, which I haven't seen as much as there's discourse. I haven't seen like
Hurt people's feelings.
firsthand. But I feel like it's not always tangible harm. I sometimes feel like it just becomes this discussion, typically on social media. And I want to talk to you about social and how the internet, specifically within the community though.
Okay.
Like, how do you, what is criticism you've received or just discourses you feel are unproductive, or how do you feel about your content?
My content specifically?
Yeah.
I feel like I don't really have a lot of discourse. I've made discourse, but it's always gone the right way, but it's also, it's gone the right way of just like checking people at the door, like, you know, like saying like, hey, like I'm gonna have this conversation, but you call me a man or you call me anything out of the fucking book, let me remind you that I went to an Ivy League university and I can get classes too. Let's have the conversation now. So let's check ourselves before we get into start name calling. You don't like what I say? Let's have a productive conversation. One thing I recently did was talk about, people call me a pick-me for saying that I will also have grace for black men in this conversation about transphobia. And Kai Cenat just had their Streamer University, which I thought was major. I'm a really big supporter of Grizzly World as well. And Grizzly World is a black man who has like made his own like sub channel on like Grand Theft Auto. and he talked about, you know, like I think it was some guy in Canada who helped him like do this, and he was making like $10,000 a day or something, but now his friends are making $5,000 a day, but it's getting black men off the streets.
Wow.
And I thought that was really important. Like, I think people forget, like, I lived my life as a black boy for 20 years. I know what it means to be a black boy. I've been pulled over by the cops. I've been with my white friends, and I've been the only one asked to get out of the car.
Wow.
I've been almost at Syracuse University, my door got kicked in by the police during before they had the BLM movement, when we had these conversations at smaller universities about, you know, like, race, and had his hand on his like waistband.
Wow.
Like, I've been through this, and to deny me that, you know, and just call me a man, it's just like, yeah, girl, I've done it, been through it, and to highlight that and to be called a pick me, it's just like, I enjoy seeing black men get other black men off the streets.
Yes.
I am so big behind black kids. These are, you know, the people where I grew up in the south side of Chicago. Like, I remember spending so many summers with my cousins, like playing Grand Theft Auto, and like really holding us together. Like, our unit, you know, our dads were in the streets, and it was like we were seeing ourselves in the screen. And now that I'm seeing that black men can, like, I've lost cousins. It's just, it's so much that I was just in love seeing like black men off the streets. Maybe I don't like their rhetorics all the time, but like, I love it for what it is, not what I want it to be.
Right.
I don't need him to be championing trans women on his platform. He's getting black boys off the street. Okay, cool, but like, you know, I hope they slowly and surely try to make acceptance for people. I don't know how that works and how you integrate that. I think it's just like, maybe they take a photo of a trans woman. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. What was it? Is it not NBA Youngboy? It's what's his name? Oh, God, fuck. If I was a bad bitch, I want to fuck me too.
Oh.
And you know, he's Choppa. He did Atlanta Pride. You know what I mean?
Oh, word. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he did Atlanta Pride, and he's like, y'all can't tell me what I'm not. He just walked for D Squared. Like, it's like,
yeah.
I will always have grace for black men, because when you have grace for black men, we see that.
Yeah.
We see black men be like, I don't have a fuck. Cardi B's hairstylist, Tokyo Styles, is a trans woman. Well, ex-husband, sorry. Cardi B's, I don't know. I mean, don't come for me, Cardi, now. I'm just praising your man, situationship, whatever, for, you know, having trans women. People don't know this is like happening. People deny it all the time. It's just like, trans women are in these spaces and they're protected too as well, you know? Like, there's trans women in Baltimore, like, girl, their brother is in the streets, he will shoot your ass. Sorry. Don't play, you know? So, like, you know, I have these conversations, I wake up these things that people like deny, and it sucks that it has to come from like a trans woman who goes to an Ivy League, which people like are more bound to listen to because she has some kind of sense. And that's not true at all. I don't have any sense at all. I'm actually really fucking stupid. But to be called a pick me after, it's like, I just did this whole dissertation of like why I think it's important to invest in black kids playing video games. You know, the tech world needs more black spaces. I love what Kai Cenat and Grizzly World are doing. They're like, you're a pick me. Pick me. Pick me. Pick me. You want black men to pick you. Girl, I'm not walking through Harlem strutting my ass out there to be picked either, girl. Like, I know my spaces. Like, girl.
Yeah, it's a nuanced, multifaceted discussion that people want to simplify because they don't want to listen. And it also is so ironic to hear people say shit like that because, like, since when is allyship transactional? Because I don't feel that way. Like, you know what I'm saying, though? Just because maybe black men, you know, say things at times, don't mean I want to see black men fail. Like, that's crazy. Who benefits from that?
I have uncles, nephews, my dad.
Absolutely.
Like,
I have a father even. Like,
whoa, crazy. Death to black, no.
Yeah.
What?
But so for you to try and uplift the community, just like for them to see you as a traitor, for something that is so clearly like.
For a mere amount of grace. I have mere grace.
Yeah. Literally. And
grace.
I think that's what I feel very kindred in terms of content goals, because I feel that same urge to like bridge and try and make people think more broadly about, instead of just pick me or like word, little slang. Like, it's actually like, these are really complex issues that you clearly have lived experiences that you're discussing, that you've seen in real life. And then someone on their little keyboard is like, I think you're wrong. I've never met you though.
People just, I guess, have never just experienced it before, and they just think it's like insane to think, or they see this rhetoric. Obviously, you know, there was something that did throw me off, and when I had the conversation, I remember it was about a trans woman, sex worker, who was unalived in Michigan, and oh my God, I'm getting emotional about it. But I think it was like, who's that healthcare white guy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. or something? His like his PR person. Oh my God, I'm getting so emotional about it. Was in the comments saying, "Thank God, like she was unalived." And I was just like, what the fuck is going on? A black woman. And I try not to say sis. I know that sounds crazy. It might sound like I'm picking me. It's just like, girl, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a woman. You know what I mean? I don't, you know, and it's a trans woman, I'm like, well, that's a woman. You know what I mean? Yeah. But just to see that it was insane. It was just like, I feel like the biggest sin right now is kindness, grace.
Yeah.
Like, when was loving someone like a sin? Acceptance was a sin. It's the biggest sin in the book, having grace for someone. You're just like, you're championing. Like, religion doesn't make you a good person. You have to use religion as a vessel to, you know, do good things that will hopefully give you this like access into the kingdom. But you're telling people to die? I mean, who was it, murdered? Like, because of a DL young boy? Like, well, he knew what the fuck he was doing. And it's just like, and, girl, you're Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s publicist telling, I almost lost my shit. And that's things where I'm like, it's really hard for me to bite my tongue and try to be a nice girl on the internet and not, you know, rip her apart to two pieces. But I don't want to use my platform to like, yell at black women on the internet, you know what I mean?
It was a black woman?
His publicist is a black woman.
Wow.
That's why I got so emotional about it. I was like, I could never understand someone saying God first and then championing like a murder.
Yeah, and that's absolutely insane. Like, unhinged.
It makes you want to pause.
Yeah.
You say, how do you follow up?
How do you, no, but truly. Like,
Next question.
You were talking about not wanting to use your platform earlier before we rolled. Like, not wanting to use your platform to denigrate other you were talking about black businesses specifically, but I think that line of like,
there's a lot more businesses I should be calling now that are not black or brown or woman-owned.
Real, yeah. And I think there's so much, I mean, it's hard. It's just hard when like, just the black community.
What's his name? Who's the foodie reviewer? Keith Lee?
Keith Lee, yeah.
Keith Lee, I think he's been very vocal about like, he's like, if I don't like the restaurant, I won't say anything.
Yeah.
Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Keep it going. Love it for what it is because there's not what I want it to be.
Yeah.
Love it that there's a black business that exists.
Yeah.
But it's not what I want it to be, and I have nothing more to say about it at all. I can make, and he gives them ratings, and it's like he goes there and he uplifts them. Like, what, girl? I need to be chewing McDonald's. Their ass out of me. Redacted. I don't have money to go against their lawyers, but you know, I need to be chewing out, you know, like chains like that who are really actually in the spotlight doing terrible things. I should be chewing out.
Yeah.
Not small black businesses who are just trying to make it.
Frustrating.
You know, I don't think, I know people think baddies is such like a counterproductive thing.
Well, let's talk about baddies.
Or like, you know, I'm not on Zeus. I'm happy they've never asked me to come on the show. They're like, this little bit, I'd ask for security. They've never asked me. I do want to be on reality television. It is my goal. I do want to be the first woman on Love is Blind, but I do have a man. I want to be on one of them, like, what is it, Farmer Needs a Wife? Like, I want to do it so bad. And just to be like America's sweetheart. Yeah. You know what I mean? The Bachelor or whatever.
Ooh, yes.
But baddies, I don't think it's actually backwards for the community. Once again, I think it's love it for what it is, not what you want it to be. I think we haven't seen full black cast reality television.
That's true.
I think obviously it may create little black girls, little black boys who aspire to the wrong things. But once again, it's representation. It's seeing yourself. It's seeing loud, black, fierce women from major cities have the spotlight, being designer. There's more to it, you know what I mean? Like, you get to rock all those Gucci, get on private jets. I mean, that's inspiring. It's aspirational. Obviously, the fighting part I would love to cut out, but it's a win-win. I have to love her for what it is, not what I want it to be. And people are like, that's why the bitch can't pick a side. I'm like, girl, I love her for what it is, not what I want it to be. I don't know. Like,
it's hard with stuff, and I feel like that's like this whole I think there's a reckoning happening right now with race in America, specifically within the black community. I don't even think it has shit to do with white people, but like.
Do you take sociology? I feel we all take sociology. Do you ever take it in high school? College is a different thing, but like.
In high school, no.
You know? Do you remember the conversation about assimilation? Like, you know, America's a melting pot.
Yeah.
And like, you know, obviously 1980s, 2000s, whatever. I mean, even not, it was just the whole time in America, you know, obviously the big like movement to America.
Yeah. It strips you of
you know, it was about assimilating to American culture. And, you know, this like diversity is a beautiful thing. And the books and stuff, obviously coming up to age, you find out, oh, that was all bullshit. And this is just all like, you know, in books from like propaganda books, you know what I mean? And, okay, sorry, tangent, sorry, off thing. Okay, have you ever watched Roots before?
I've read it.
You've read Roots, the book? You never watched the TV
I watched,
movie?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so right now in America, we have too much media. Too much motherfucking media. It is so much that you cannot consume everything. Like I can probably bring up a TikTok. You'd be like, girl, what TikTok are you talking about? Yeah. I don't know what's happening on TV. There's so many goddamn shows, and they're cutting off budgets and AI, whatever. But back when we had like a few channels that we all shared, we would have these really major conversations, like breaking news, this is happening, and it's the next day, we are all sitting there like, wow, this happened. Girl, there could have been a bombing in America yesterday. We would not all know about it.
That's true.
You know what I mean? We can't
So
all
much.
stop and
It's
reflect on it.
oversaturated.
And I think the politicians right now have been able to take advantage of that, especially the right side, who are very towards themselves. But roots, the conversation is, I was taking an American history class, and he's talking about assimilation, you know, and when it debuted, I think it was competing against the NFL, the Super Bowl, and the next day, I guess it matched in views. The next day in America, there was like this pause, this stillness of like, wow, they went through that. And then they reran it, and the next day, people were in the office talking, like, looking at each other. It's interesting how we're not able to pause.
Yeah.
And like share the same thing, like this is all affecting us. We're seeing about eggs, we're seeing about what Harvard kids are getting, like I just met a Harvard kid last night who has to change schools because like the government, they like sanctioned them or something.
Yep.
All the, you know, disability,
AI.
you know, AI,
Yeah.
and like, God, Jesus, fucking porn, all this shit, and it's just like, we have not been able to pause because we have so much going on.
Yeah. And it's so intentional, I feel like. Because
Yeah,
I
whoever
was-
was paid to make America stupid did a great fucking job.
Yeah, and then they're silently trying to ban CRT and like making all of these.
I didn't even know that.
In Florida, like everything in Florida is right now, and the bathroom ban is just like all of this nonsense. That's like, and I'm saying because I think the last time we had a cultural pause was George Floyd in like 2020, and like then COVID, and I'm like, what? I just think these last 5 years, as I'm reflecting, have been absolutely insane culturally. As like now. TikTok and YouTube, maybe not YouTube, but like TikTok, Instagram are all like, try our new AI tool. Like it's all trying to distract us, oversaturate us. Look at this, look at this, look at this. So that we're not watching like.
Keep on burping. I think Democrats said the other day, I think it was about the tanning beds or something. I don't know what it's about. No, it was about the health insurance or something. Then they're doing something with Medicaid or something, like Medicare.
Yeah, they're trying to.
Yeah.
The big beautiful ban.
But the
that is not big and beautiful.
Democrats said something along the lines of roughly like something bad is going to happen to your party. Beware. I can't remember that those aren't word for word what she said, but in the conversation, like Luigi Mangione is like the last. I think that's actually one of the last pauses we
That's
had.
true,
We had the
yeah.
conversation about health insurance.
Yes.
Like, if he did do it, you know, allegedly. He knew how to do it because he knew that we're so oversaturated. Because that was like, you know.
Yeah, that's true. We did definitely pause.
we pause, you know, and I think something bad is actually going to happen. Like, I hate to like fearmonger like a civil war or something, but like.
There's a tipping point that will come.
A blackout, a technology blackout would honestly make America pause.
Absolutely.
I'm not wishing a blackout. I love my phone. Don't black out my phone. Black out everybody else's phone. I'm civil. But to like think about something like that happening is really insane. Like it's gonna take violence, and it's one of the things where like I can't remember. She was not a politician, but just like a what is it? Inspirational? What is it? Advocate?
Motivational speech.
Activist? Girl. Fuck the word activist. School has killed me. An activist, she said something, you know, like, we needed to go through this for us to get on the other side. And that sucks because who would wish this on anyone in the world? Like, we have to go through, like, people getting murdered, people getting hate crime, people going, like, unalive, people getting insurance, like, for us to all come together.
Yeah, it's really scary.
Because I'm like, bitch, I don't fuck with you. Like, girl, what the fuck? We had to go through all that. Now you want to be buddy with me? Girl, please. But
that's the thing. Because I've been reckoning with black womanhood and entitlement. And the idea that, because exactly what you're saying, that eye roll of like, oh, and now it's this. And now that it's time to like, you want a bestie vibe. But truly, what other options do we have? Like, the example I've been thinking of, because I was going to make a TikTok about this, but fuck that out, Loki. I've been here. But basically, did you watch White Lotus?
I'm familiar with the show.
Spoiler for White Lotus season 3. But there's this black woman character. She basically gets fucked over by a white woman in season 2 and does the same thing to a man season 3. She takes some money. She takes some blood money, essentially. Sorry, spoiler. But like, and everyone's like, well, work. Like, and I'm like, well, work. Like, let that black woman have her money and get her yacht and start her business and never work again. Absolutely. Same time. This happened on the train in New York, famous. Black woman gets in a fight, you would have seen this, with an Asian man who's gay. And
yes,
you saw this.
Yeah.
So what?
I'm a faggot.
You a faggot. So what? You a faggot?
I'm an Asian faggot and you're a black woman. What are we going to do about it? Why are you saying about it? On the train, first thing in the morning? I am the Asian faggot. What are you going to do about it?
Okay, well, go on, faggot.
I am!
Okay.
What are you going to do about it, huh?
You're mad. You're mad.
You're mad too, bitch.
You're a mad faggot.
Apparently, allegedly, she shoved
Call
him
him
one
all
in
his
the...
name.
she's calling him slurs, he's calling her a bitch, and there's this whole discourse really about privilege, about like who's more fucked, who's more in the wrong, who da 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 da, and everyone's like, well, let that black lady sit down, like let that black lady.
Was it about a seat?
It was about a seat. It was about a seat, and she had moved him, taken the seat or whatever. He was whatever. My whole thing, which these things were happening at the same time concurrently, is like the aptitude, and I completely resonate with it, for black women kind of to be a little evil, you know? Black women to not help you up, black women to not open the door for you, black women to get that extra money. It makes sense to me, obviously, because like we be denigrated, we be tired,
and the mother to the world.
Yes.
Remember that trend on TikTok? It was about, I think it was like a South Asian boy who lived in the UK. He's like, his mom taught him like, if you ever like are into a problem, go find a black woman.
Wow. And it's been adopted culturally that black women are here to.
I mean, the ginger trend, it's like all these black women, like black women are uplifting it, and I love this rhetoric. They're like, girl, fuck no, I'm not, girl. You ain't nothing like me at all.
Right. We're always the first to be taken from or picked up. And I want to also specify trans women even further. But like, you know, there's this narrative that we're givers and like there's.
Because we're not takers. But in that conversation, like, you know, entitlement between those two, I mean, God, we're only seeing like a bit of the piece of like, you know, obviously the recorded action. But I mean, girl, let her sit. No shade. Why are you fighting? Sometimes just it's hard to be silent.
Yeah, but my point being in that same vein of like understanding that exhaustion, but also knowing it will get us nowhere. And like, I hear black women say all the time, why is it gotta be me? Why do I have to be the one to, and I've said this to my mom many a times. She's like, well, tell your boss that you, and no, I won't. Like, why does it have to be me who advocates against the system that's oppressing me? But I think what my content has come to embody, and like why I think I get a lot of slack about my blackness or about whatever in the way I approach discourse, is because it is gonna be me. I am going to exhaust myself and stress myself out and think of all sides of a situation and try and build bridges and like do solidarity. Even like, cause honestly I think a lot of black women shouldn't have to. So like I really get not wanting to. But like I think when we're talking about what happens after this, what happens when there's the blackout, you know, like we need each other, and I think the Asian guy on the train and the black woman on the train, they're going to be on the same side. Like when whatever comes to a head comes to a head. Mm-hmm. And I want us to I don't think it's about kindness. I don't think it's about getting along. I think it's just about tolerance and like knowing at the end of the day who you're going to stand next to on what side of what line. And
talk that to you. Yeah. When you said like, you know, it has to be me. I'm a black evil tranny. Never forget that. Evil as fuck. That the fact that it had to be me to call out brands on TikTok saying, you know, I've been inspiring girls, you know, girls, gays, everyone to go back to college, all these different things, fashion, all this stuff. I had to be like, I have no PR. I don't get brand PR. I've got no brand deals. Mm-hmm. I don't think I make shit unsafe on the internet at all. And I had to be the one to call it out. Brands reach out, and I'm like, very grateful for that. And you know, new opportunities have arose. And you know, okay. Pink news, fuck you, don't redact that. I said what I said. I need an explanation of why they posted a video with me in it about the doll terminology, like being, you know, made by black and brown from the ballroom community, in the video featuring mostly white trans women and 2 light-skinned trans women. Wow. And I was the only dark-skinned trans woman in that video. And then they deleted it and they posted it on TikTok, and I was removed out. I was the only person removed from the video.
Wow.
And I had to be the person to say something. I mean, obviously, because I saw it.
Yeah.
But like.
Yeah. What?
What did I do to get taken out of the video? And you're making about this dolls and highlighting, you know, the black ballroom scene, black and brown ballroom scene.
What the video's about? Like, and then they're gonna
take me out of it. Like I have not been like. It's not saying like, you know, being delusional, but like. You call me inspirational, and it's hard for me to think that because like. Well, I can't tell because some of these media outlets can't stand my black ass. And it's just like, but it has to be me to call this shit out. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. It's exhausting to talk to my manager. You know, when we send this pitch in, how do we corner them? Like, it's important to have a black trans woman. A dark-skinned one, mind you, at that.
Yeah.
It's, because like, you don't want to put them someone in the corner and tell them like, you know, you need to do better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it has to be the black girl to tell you that. Mm-hmm. Pick me, because like, my fear is like if I say something to someone like that, they're going to just take me out and go find another black girl, which is girl, I'm a sister first. Let her get her coin.
But still, we shouldn't be treated as disposable tokens. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
I think everyone talks about, like, you know, the fear of calling something out and, like, you know, needing representation, and then them like, oh, thank you so much for letting us alert. But now we know that this bitch is angry as fuck, and we should go find someone who's a little bit more silent.
And yeah. That's why when you say stuff like, and I can get really elitist, like, it's valid. Because it's like I just wanted to, it struck me because, like, you didn't build Colombia or elitism, like, and as you, I think it's completely fair for you to, like, benefit or use what you can from this system that has not supported you. And so I feel like when you come out and you have to, like, do all this labor, say all these things, advocate for yourself, do all this work, be an inspiration, be a public speaker, be a model, and then, like, what is my point? Just, like, I think you should never apologize or feel bad for being cocky.
And I'm trying to get into my delusional cocky era, and it's absolutely, it's not scary because it truly is sometimes, like, it's just not really me, but on the internet it's just like, it's all fun and games. But people can't decipher real from fake, and it's just like, okay, fair. But, like, girl, I was raised by blue-haired liberals in Chicago, like, beneath this black human here. Yeah, that touches my ass. That if you're transphobic, you cannot afford. You see, I said if you were transphobic, you cannot afford. Everything else, mind you, I'm not elitist. I was raised by my community. My community helped me get back to college. My shit stinks. Wow. I spent my whole life savings to go back to school. And it was on a whim. They were like, okay, well, let's do that. And then I was starving for my first few weeks at Columbia. If you go back to my older videos, you can see it, bare fucking bones dorm. I had a pillow and a blanket that I got from a girlfriend who I helped raise when we were at Syracuse University together. And to say, like, I'm elitist because, like, I've moved up a little bit in life, girl, I woke up to this morning with $21 in my bank account. And my bag might be 15 grand, but bitch, I don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's really hard not to apologize, you know what I mean? Because you deserve good things too. Absolutely. You deserve to move up in the world as well, you know what I mean? You deserve to have nice things. Girl, post a GoFundMe and go buy a coffee the next day. Yeah. And let every bitch see you buy that coffee with the money, because just like, you deserve to have something nice. 100%. You shouldn't stay ground. And I think something that I think people feel entitled, that since they helped me or supported me, or they, you know, left a comment, they saw me when I was down bad, that, like, I should stay in that same place. But the more and more I'm able to move up, I'm able to help back. I've helped pay girls rent, donate to go, and I shouldn't have to say this. This is the thing, I shouldn't have to say these kind of things. I might have been silent, but I've been able to give back in phenomenal ways that I never thought was possible, and I hope to continue doing that. Because you beating me a bitch, if you don't want it to be me, then go find someone else to go do it. But I tell you right now, a lot of people won't do it. A lot of people get into money, quick money, and they forget about everyone else. Right. I will never forget about those poly people who helped me.
You say poly people?
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Girl, I'd be going home with that girl. I have 2 gay boyfriends who are boyfriends.
Period. And they're boyfriends?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
I have many gay boyfriends.
Me too, hey.
No, I mean, like, we don't be doing the nasty. We'll
kiss a little.
Redacted. We do a lot more than kissing. But I text like a 5-year-old.
I like how you text.
Did you text me?
Coming.
Yeah, where I'll respond to something like maybe like 2 weeks ago, and I won't hold it down and hit reply, and I'll be like, LOL. Wait, and sometimes I just don't spell words correctly, and if you ever get a long text from me that has like grammatically correct periods and stuff, you should be actually very scared of me.
You're pissed.
Oh, I'm pissed. I am pissed because I'm a phone call girl. I've told people, you know, people like text messages to have receipts. Girl, fuck receipts, girl. I'll say what you said, girl. If people don't believe me, they don't believe me. I don't give a fuck. record my phone calls. I don't care. But I'm not sitting here texting you all day. Like, I know how some of you bitches operate. Some of you bitches love to pull out phones like this, like, show me the screenshots.
Screen recording.
No, just say what she said. Say what she said out loud, girl. I want to believe you 25%. And when I see her on her ass, I'm like, oh yeah, girl, you were right what you said, girl. She's crazy. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say she crazy. Okay, I'm listening, but I'm not gonna take anything to it. I don't need to see a receipt, girl. I want to see it in person. I want to see the action. Let me see. I'm like, and I go back and I'm like,
at least do a live stream next time. Like something I could.
Girl, live streaming is crazy. I mean,
some galaxies in that beef.
Girl, how much money is a galaxy? I've never.
I've never done it, but I heard it's like $3. That could be a lie.
Yeah, girl, being on live is penny, nickels, and dimes.
Actually, though.
Penny, nickel, dime, quarter, penny, nickel, dime, quarter. Penny, quarter, nickel, girl, something like that. It is bullshit.
It's long hours, man. Like, I just don't.
Yeah, that's something. There's a part of me that like is oversharing, but I try not to go on live because I do have a wicked tongue. But
I be vaping. That's why I'm not live.
oh, okay. I be telling people I get in some comments like, jump, girl. Well, it's a boy, like a transphobic person, I'm like, jump. When I say jump, I can't say the full line, but like, jump. You connect that to whatever you want, but like, jump. Like,
I'm gonna use that.
I'm also did out of a 6th floor window, but that's another story.
Do a flip. Like,
Do it. Well, no, don't do it. Yeah. Do a flip, girl. Yeah, girl, for your last 10 seconds of life. No, but yeah, I can't explore myself on live. I shout out to the people who can do.
I think this was so healing.
I'm healed.
Yeah? Okay, I feel warm inside. I feel like that meme that's like, also I just think you're
The only
brilliant.
meme I'm is a black Amish girl, and that's the scariest thing about my lore.
I can't believe I didn't bring it up.
Black Amish girl tries pizza in gay neighborhood.
Hey.
But thank you so much for coming.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I'm excited. I looked at the camera and said thank you so much, because thank you all for listening, and thank you so much for having me.
Oh, this was amazing. And where can the people find you?
Everything is SayEssence. Say it 3 times, I'll pop up in your window. Say it once, well, you don't pay me enough to get out of bed. But SayEssence, everything.
Everything is linked below. Follow Essence on everything. And thank you guys so much for watching. Stay gay.
Gay is it? Okay.
Gay is okay. Gay is fine.
Whoever started that,
They don't know what they did.
they need to be burned.
Do a flip.
Because they forgot about trans and lesbians. It's just gay is okay.
Yeah, right.
We're-
And here we are.
Ban them.
Period. That's it. So good.